Alright, my food mood friends, welcome back. Chandra Zas is an Odyssey Gut Health Made Doable. Okay, so I have a topic, self-care versus escape.
Welcome! Here is your hostess and coach, Chandra Zas, helping people make food and mood changes doable without missing out. Go ahead, high five that like button, subscribe and share while you're there.
So, what is escape? And why does self-care matter? So, I like to think about this concept. It's part of the process of gut health is kind of understanding and seeing these two really big different pieces. Like when I work with my gut heroes, we always start off by really envisioning the healthy version of them. And almost always this comes with, the gut hero gets to like put in the details, but almost always there's some kind of self-care in there, right? So, there's like basics like drinking water, eating healthy food, whatever healthy is, exercising, there's these like basic, and then generally there's some kind of self-care. Some people like to meditate. Some people like to go on walks. Some people like to get massages. Some people like to spend time in nature. There's a lot of different ways that people classify self-care. But how I like to really look at self-care is there is an investment in the self. So on the flip side, we have escape, the escape button. And this is what we do when we're not engaging in self-care. So the escape button is what most of us push a lot. Like it's kind of like the easy default thing. So the escape button helps us get out of our current misery and feel good right now. So the escape button is like, and this is overdoing it. This isn't necessarily like, let me clarify. So over shopping or overeating or overindulging or over drinking. So to shop is not an escape button, or to eat is not an escape button. If you're doing it with the purpose of taking care of things in your life or taking care of your bigger self, if you're doing it just to feel better, just to hit the dopamine button, just to relieve the pressure, just to reward yourself, just because you deserve it, that is when I really highly encourage my gut heroes to question why they're doing things and do they like why they're doing things. So I really see this as like there's kind of like two paths. There's the path of self-care, and I really like to think of like being the bigger self, being the bigger version of me. When I'm the bigger version of myself and when I see my clients be the bigger version of themselves, they are engaging in self-care. They're investing in their future. They're caring for their self. Now, when we're being our little self, like I think we all have a big self and a little self version. The little self just wants to feel good right now. It's like, I also like to talk about it like the toddler in our brain. My little one, she watches TV sometimes, and every time we turn it off, she's like freaks out. And I really see this as like the toddler in her brain. She's like, that TV feels so good. I just want to keep watching it. And I feel like there's a part of all of us that have that same intense desire to feel that intense pleasure. So that is what we do when we hit the escape button. So in my coaching program, I teach about like the difference between natural pleasures and man-made pleasures. And the man-made pleasures are the ones that feel super good, but they don't necessarily take care of our self or our life. They're not necessarily self-care things. It's kind of the more medium things that are the real self-care things. So if we don't know how to manage our brain, like our default brain, our toddler brain just wants to feel the really good feeling things, the high hitting dopamine things all the time. But what we're doing is we're just hitting the escape button. So maybe there's something in your life that needs to change. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a work dynamic. But instead of stepping into our bigger self, and I would even say having a hard conversation is considered self-care. You're taking care of yourself. Because the other option is ignoring it and pushing the escape button. I can just feel good right now if I binge watch all of this TV instead of think about or face or deal with this conversation that my big self knows I need to have. So when it comes to showing up in our lives, I really like to kind of offer these two places. Like, do we engage in self-care and be the bigger version of ourselves and like have the hard conversations and go for a walk and be in nature? Or do we let the toddler in our brains run our life and just keep hitting the escape button and just keep feeling good right now? Those are kind of the two options, the crossroads that I really see a lot of people sitting at when they start looking at their life and they start evaluating, okay, what are my habits? Why do I do what I do? Why do I hit the escape button? Whichever the escape button is. Sometimes it's binge eating, sometimes it's overeating, sometimes it's smoking, drinking. It can be anything, but there's a lot of things that we can use to hit the escape button. And I love this part of the journey, the part where we get to grow and become this bigger version of ourselves, this version of ourselves that cares for ourselves, that honors when we know that things need to be addressed, and honors when we know things need to be changed, and is able to make instead of doing the immediate gratification, we're able to delay our gratification so that we can invest in our health, invest in our gut health, invest in our mental health, invest in our emotional health. That is self-care. That is showing up for ourselves. That is becoming the bigger version of ourselves and really letting go of a lot of those escape buttons and really understanding them for what they are, and understanding the lure and understanding why they're normal, and choosing deliberately to grow and to do the hard things and to invest in yourself. I love self-work. It is the coolest thing in the world to me. I love, love, love this work. It's so... I'm really big into self-care. But I remember in the beginning of my journey 20 years ago, like, self-care was like a luxury. Self-care was something that was selfish. Like, I had to go through a lot of belief system changes and a lot of pushback on that. To really get to a place where I was super solid in my self-care. And now I get to help other people do the same thing. It's important work. One of the things that people think is that when we're doing self-care that we're selfish, but doing self-care is the biggest gift that we can give to everybody else. Because when we take care of ourselves, then we're a pretty rad human. And when we're a rad human, we can give. When we're pushing the escape button and our brain is full of all kinds of stimulation and we can't give much. We're just kind of like on the rat wheel. When we invest in ourselves and really take care of ourselves, we have like space, we have patience, we have capacity to hold space for somebody else. It's, in my opinion, it's the it's the selfless thing to do, is to take care of ourselves so that we can help other people. Yeah. So I vote push the self-care button and learn about what your escape buttons are. Learn about them, watch them, bring some awareness to it. That is the juice of change, is awareness. So I hope you enjoyed that slathering on of awareness, the escape button, and have a beautiful day. I'll see you next week.